Hey, you. Do you want to turn your ROG Ally into a time machine? Well, load these retro bangers into your new handheld PC and enjoy pixel perfection. Oh, hello there. They say nostalgia is a file that removes the rough edges from good days. But to be honest, that's kind of disparaging to the game developers who bring classic games back to life on modern systems. I mean, it's not just our misty-eyed fondness for pixel art and chiptunes that makes classic games great. It's the fact that someone's preserved them in the great gaming library for future generations to enjoy. And thanks to the fruits of those developers' labour, even though the ROG Ally is a brand new gaming PC running Windows 11, it's ready and able to take you back to bygone eras when side-on platforming was the last word in excitement, and our favourite game characters were about 7 pixels big. And that includes retro revival games that take the classic formula and put a modern spin on them. Given that, here's 7 absolutely classic titles, old and new, that will tickle your nostalgia glands and then absolutely rinse you with their stern challenge levels because you forgot how hard games used to be. Turn your Ally into a time machine by loading them onto it and then enjoy the bonus that these 7 titles contain compendiums, so there's actually about 30 of them. It's a feast of the good old days. Bon appetit.
I love cinnamon.
Yikes! Oh, I think I'm getting dizzy.
Let's start with not one member of retro royalty, but 10 of them. One of the many benefits to retro gaming is the tiny install size of classic games, and while getting 10 Call of Duties loaded onto a PC would be quite an undertaking, Mega Man Collection 1 and 2 brings the first 10 releases onto your Ally's SSD with enough room for, well, literally everything else you would ever want on there. In some circles, Capcom's legendary platform series is still seen as the ultimate challenge, the supreme test of skill and patience in all of gaming. Forget your Dark Souls and it's all skeletons in medieval armor with massive health bars. Navigating this assault course of hurty things is where real talent shows. All updated to work on modern PCs and featuring the complete DLC collection for all games, this duo of Mega Man Legacy collections is ideal for a quick fix on the Ally. Those moments when doom scrolling the socials just doesn't feel that appealing. Out comes the Ally and wham, you're back in the 90s getting absolutely leathered by projectiles. Before Sonic, platformer characters moved around at normal, aka boring, pace. Then Sega made the logical decision to put a hedgehog in some running shoes and then have him run loop-de-loops in order to save local wildlife from a big circular robot man, and the rest is history. A lot of history, actually. A total of 16 different Sonic titles are crammed into Sonic Origins, and it's available on Steam, which means with one tap on the Ally's screen, you've got access to a compendium of, and I don't feel like this is hyperbole to say this, the most famous spiny mammal in all of gaming. Sonic Mania is also worth a look, the 2017 retro revival take on the classic formula. 2D perspective, beautiful nostalgic pixels, but with new mechanics and new spins on level design, sometimes literal. Having all of this on one handheld would have absolutely blown minds in the 90s, but here it all is, thanks to the Ally. This miraculous modern age. If you want a real pepperoni-loaded slice of gaming nostalgia, consider this. 13 different Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games released between 1989 and 1994. 13 of them! We could not get enough of these guys, and every one of those classic arcade games has been preserved and tweaked to run properly on modern PCs in the appropriately titled Cowabunga Collection, released last year. If you're on Shredder's payroll, you should be worried, because you're about to get a 16-bit whooping. Shredder's Revenge is also worth loading up on the Ally 2, a modern take on the classic Streets of Rage style brawlers featuring heroes in a half shell. I mean, if that isn't the winning formula, I don't know what is. It takes a lot to get people excited about Tetris all over again. It's been absolutely ubiquitous in gaming since 1984, and the very mention of its theme song makes it play in your head for at least a day. What's left to hold our attention about a block puzzle game? Surely recommending Tetris in 2023 is like recommending water. Well, yes, I'd have thought so too, before Tetris Effect and its multiplayer edition, Tetris Effect Connected, came along. And what a masterful reworking of a classic formula it is. Gorgeous visual effects, a pumping trance soundtrack that perfectly articulates the frenetic activity of organising little shapes. And get this, a story in a Tetris game. Now I've seen it all. No spoilers, but it is genuinely quite emotional. And once you've dried your eyes, the connected mode lets you absolutely rinse opponents with your square organising skills. Essential puzzling. Okay, let's get this one out of the way. Obviously, Doom. 30 years after id Software decided it might be quite fun to blast through corridors full of cacodemons, it's still an instant hit of pure enjoyment mainlined into your pleasure receptors with a side of MIDI metal. Doom runs on anything. Seriously, it will run on your electric toothbrush if it's fully charged, but what makes it perfect for the Ally is how rich and vibrant the colours still are, and how it absolutely zips along at breakneck pace. Literally, if the necks in question belong to imps and shotgun zombie men. The Ally really captures that colour and pace like id Software designed it for handheld PCs in the year of our Lord 2023 rather than 1993. So if your nostalgic mood takes on an FPS dimension, Doom should always be your go-to option. Let's stay in the warm, fuzzy embrace of the early 90s for a bit longer, because we're talking about Monkey Island next. Granted, the special editions of Monkey Island 1 and 2, which actually came out in 2009 and 2010, and the long-awaited new game from 2022, but look, let's not get bogged down in the numbers. The vibe here is as 90s as an episode of The Fresh Prince playing on a Tamagotchi screen. Guybrush Threepwood has aspirations of being a mighty pirate. He also quite fancies Elaine, the local governor and far superior ship's captain. But his ambitions are dashed by the dread pirate LeChuck, one of the only people with a genuine claim to having a more impressive voice and beard than Brian Blessed.
Never felt better.
What follows is some classic point-and-click adventuring. Absurd puzzles with even more absurd solutions. Insult sword fighting. Monkeys. 90s pop culture references that were once edgy and then outdated, and now all the way back to being nostalgic and brilliant. Once again, the Ally's a perfect place to set sail in Monkey Island's new and old, since the simple controls map perfectly to its layout and the beautifully drawn scenery absolutely pops on that 1080p screen.
Feel free to come to the Great Monkey and visit your idol anytime.
Like a well-tailored suit, or Rob Lowe, Shovel Knight's greatest strength is that it's impossible to put a year on it. Seriously, look at this game and tell me when it came out. If I said 1991 or 10 minutes ago, would you actually be surprised either way? Brilliantly blending platforming, combat, RPG upgrades, and yes, just straight up digging stuff up with a shovel, it's a real celebration of classic side-scrollers that also moves the formula forwards with new ideas of its own and a unique medieval world full of formidable bosses to topple. If you've only got 2 minutes of spare time with your ally while you're out and about, it's here for you. If you've actually got 2 hours to kill, it's more than capable of holding your attention for the long haul too. Sometimes you've just got to call a spade a spade. Shovel Knight is as good as retro platforming gets. Right, we've got to come back to the present day again now, with its 2-factor authentication and its reality shows. Sorry. But if this awakened a desire in you to spend more time with retro gaming, head over to rog.azus.com for more classic game picks from us. Tell us about the old gold you're playing on your own ROG Ally down in the comments, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in another one.